What's cooking, guys, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm making my Chipotle chicken and cheese empanadas. They are so simple to make. You can make them ahead of time and freeze them. These are the ultimate appetizer with that crispy, crunchy, golden brown crust and my Chipotle chicken and cheese filling. So stay tuned for the recipe. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here and you'd like to join the foodie family. And now let's get cooking. So I'll be starting by peeling half an onion. You can also use one small onion instead. And a few cloves of garlic. I'm using about 4, but you can use however many you need to. And then I'm just chopping them up roughly. They don't have to be finely chopped. They'll cook down anyway, so just roughly chop them as I'm showing here. And I'm also going to be cutting 1 tomato, again just roughly cutting it into small pieces, and this will pretty much dissipate when we cook it down, so it doesn't matter how you cut it. And then set this aside for now and let's make the meat filling. I'm going to heat up a saute pan and add a little olive oil, just a few tablespoons, eyeballing it. And once the oil heats up, I'm adding the ground chicken in the pan. You can also use ground beef or turkey if you like, but I really like these with the chicken meat filling. They are less greasy than the beef for me. And then just mix this up with a wooden spoon and start to break down the ground chicken into finer pieces so that when it's done cooking, it will be easier to fill in the empanada sheets. I'm going to cook the chicken till its own water releases and starts to evaporate. You want to make sure its own water evaporates so that the raw smell and that raw taste of it goes away. And once the meat starts to brown a little bit, you really don't have to brown it per se, you just want the water to evaporate and then it just starts to dry up a little bit. Then you can add the onions in there that I chopped earlier and also the chopped garlic cloves. This will allow for the meat to start getting flavor since we didn't marinate it beforehand. And then cook the onions and garlic down with the meat for a few minutes and keep mixing and breaking down the ground chicken. After a few minutes, I'm adding the tomato I cut into small chunks in there as well and mix it all up really well. The tomato will start to soften and break down almost right away when it touches the heat. So cook this with the meat as well for a few minutes. Once the tomato looks like it has softened in there, let's add half a cup of frozen corn kernels. You can also use fresh corn and just take the kernels off the cob. This will add a bit of sweetness and also some texture to the meat filling. Mix it all up and let it continue to cook for just a few minutes, maybe 4 minutes, with the rest of the ingredients. And now let's season up the meat, and for that I have about 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. I have 1 teaspoon of dried oregano to add an herbaceous flavor. And I have 1 teaspoon of cumin powder going in there as well. Then I have smoked paprika to add a little bit of smokiness, but not really much spice to this, but it adds a beautiful red color also. And I also have about half a teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning that has garlic, onion, and herbs in there. And this one is optional, guys. If you don't have it, you don't have to use it. And then I have Chipotle sauce, which is easily available from supermarkets. I'm going to add about a couple tablespoons in there, just eyeballing it. I added maybe about 2 to 3 tablespoons. And then combine everything together, allow the meat to get seasoned up with those wonderful flavors. And now add in the salt. I added about 1 teaspoon because of the all-purpose seasoning I added has a little salt in there too, but add however much you need to your taste. And then mix this up again to combine all that goodness. And I'm gonna let this cook for another 5 to 8 minutes approximately till the spices have really been incorporated with the meat and the other ingredients. And once the oil kind of starts to separate from the filling, That's a sign that this filling is now done. I'm going to turn off the stove and set this aside to let it cool completely. Once the filling is cooled down completely or come down to room temperature, you want to transfer it into a large bowl just as I'm showing. And to this I'm going to add about a cup of mild cheddar cheese. I didn't want to use sharp cheddar because that may take away from the filling flavors, and so with this mild cheddar I get that cheesy gooiness, but it doesn't take away from that beautiful filling we made. And then combine the cheese with the filling really well, making sure the cheese gets evenly distributed in there. And once this is mixed, our chipotle chicken and cheese filling is done. And now let's fill this up into the empanada sheets. For the empanada sheets, I'm using these store-bought ones. They can be found in any supermarket so easily these days, and they make life so easy. And so on a clean surface, I'm just going to place one of the empanada sheets down and then take the filling I just made and put in a couple of tablespoons, maybe, not overfilling it. And then take the other end of the sheet that's facing you and pull it over to cover the filling and enclose all that goodness. And then just take a fork and prick the ends to close the empanada properly so it doesn't open up while frying. And I'm going to just make another one so you can see it one more time, and then we're going to fry these bad boys up. So in a frying pan, I'm just going to put some oil for frying, heat it up on medium-high heat. And once the oil is hot, you want to gently add the prepared empanadas in there one by one. Do not overcrowd the pan or the oil temperature can go down a lot. Plus you want to give them space while frying and let them do their thing. Once you can see the golden brown on one side, turn them over gently and fry the other side too. These literally take a few minutes. Once they are golden brown on both sides, they are done pretty much because the filling is already cooked thoroughly. Once they look nicely golden brown, remove them on a plate with a paper towel or a wire rack so the excess oil can drain out. And now let me show you how beautiful these look. You can see the beautiful color on the outside, the golden brown goodness, and on the inside the cheese, chipotle, chicken filling. These make a great appetizer, and I already know you're gonna love this recipe when you make it. And these taste so incredible, guys. You can even make them and freeze them for a few months and take them out whenever you want. They are good for at least up to 3 months in the freezer. And serve them with a spicy sauce, or even ketchup is fine. And these are definitely gonna be a hit amongst your family and friends. And that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my chipotle chicken and cheese stuffed empanadas. They are so easy to make, and using the store-bought empanadas just makes life so easy in the kitchen. So don't make your life hard in the kitchen. Use some help from stores sometimes or your supermarkets and just create something really special in your kitchen. I really hope you try out this recipe for my empanadas, and if you do, make sure to tag me on all my socials, and make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe before leaving. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Until then, take care of yourselves.